Hi friends, hope you're whelmed. My name's Jess, and today we're going to be taking a look at Amber Isle and whether it's worth your money. Amber Isle is a prehistoric merchant and social sim from Ambertail Games. It's available on Steam with the Switch release planned for November 21st. I played the game for about 4 hours last night, so these are just my honest first impressions, starting with the character creation. The customization is actually insane here. This game really speaks to me because my first real special interest in life was a tie between dinosaurs and the English Sailor Moon dub, which as an adult means I can remember all the names of the Sailor Scouts and their cats, but I haven't retained any scientifically useful info about dinosaurs. Which is totally fine because in Amber Isle, the sky's the limit when it comes to character customization. You have the option to really fine-tune how your character looks with color swatches and sliders to adjust things to your liking so you can make the dino of your dreams. At one point, I was making a Terriermon-inspired dinosaur, but ultimately I got overwhelmed by choice, so I picked one of the default options. This is Stripes, and she'll be guiding us on our first paleo venture. I have to warn you that some of the clips are going to look silly because of a key binding issue, but we'll get into that later. First, let's get into the good stuff. You can tell a lot of heart went into this game, so I find it difficult to criticize it too harshly. It's clear there was a lot of effort and care involved in bringing Amber Isle to life, from the characters called paleo folk as a whole, to the locations, to the actual business of shopkeeping. Speaking of shopkeeping, the main mechanic of the game delivers on its promise. As Amber Isle's premier shopkeeper, you're in charge of gathering raw materials, crafting those into purchasable goods, and selling them to eager customers, who also double as your friends. You can gather materials from multiple different places on the map, but during my short run with the game, I stayed in the meadow and found that I had plenty of resources to work with. Generally, I liked that paleo folk have their own preferences for the kinds of material they're likely to pick up, just like people. For example, Addie is interested in scribe items, which means they're more likely to buy items unlocked from the scribe skill tree if you have them in stock. Plus, I've noticed it helps with haggling, though that may be a coincidence. Haggling is also fun. I'm actually a lot softer than I thought I was because as soon as Nellie said a price was too high, only to lowball me with a counteroffer, or Chester sold me some old gear I didn't actually care for, I folded like a cheap lawn chair. And while that increased my relationships with the paleo folk, it didn't make me a ton of profit. I enjoyed fulfilling custom orders, or just finding things the paleo folk asked for. Sometimes I didn't have anything that matched the description in stock, especially if they requested an item by size instead of material, so it's always best to check out the item list in your shopkeeper journal for detailed notes on item price, size, and other relevant info. Choosing which goods to sell is always fun too. You can use inspiration points to unlock new crafting recipes in the skill tree from 7 different disciplines: carpenter, artisan, scribe, chef, gardener, musician, and stylist. I spent most of my time overseeing the store, especially once I got my night license, which allows you to operate during the evening. But you can and should be a little bit more social than I was, asking the different paleo folk around town if they want to hang out with you while you gather materials. This increases your friendship while also improving your shop rank. I like the way that time passes in chunks in the game, and your character has no stamina bar. There's never any manufactured hurry, or the sense that time is slipping past while a laundry list of tasks goes unfinished. Speaking of tasks, we are given quests to complete, and the tutorial for how the game runs is fairly lengthy, but it's broken down into manageable chunks, and it's satisfying to check different things off the to-do list. It was nice to have something to work towards, and next time I definitely think I'll be a little bit more laid back when I play, instead of just focusing all my effort on repaying my debt to the grumpy mayor, who is low-key my bestie. I mean, he pretends to hate me, but nah, we're besties. Trust me on this. There's a world of good here, but one pretty big not-so-great part. Remember how I said Stripes looks a little weird and she's always running around while switching tools? It's because the key binding options aren't working. It's difficult for me to use the WASD movement scheme because I have a disability that affects my hands, but I usually just swap it out for the arrow keys and everyone's happy. In the case of Amber Isle though, while I did successfully swap out WASD, I couldn't actually change the tool selection keys, which default to the left and right arrow keys. That resulted in a lot of, well, this. So it doesn't really bother me. I don't care that it takes me extra time to gather resources and Stripes looks a little silly on screen. But I'm only one person and my experience, my disability isn't the standard. So somebody who has severe cerebral palsy or another condition that affects their dexterity and hand strength may be incredibly frustrated with this game shortfall. I'm really hoping the team fixes it because otherwise this is a really fun addition to the cozy game space. Issues aside, Amber Isle is incredibly fun. It's relaxing, easy to get caught up in, there's a lot to do, and if you're really into dinosaurs, buying this is a no-brainer. With just a little more polish and some TLC, Amber Isle will be the perfect prehistoric merchant game. To be fair, they may be the only one in that category, but still. I'm glad I pre-ordered. This game has already brought me a lot of joy, and I know I'll be sinking tons more hours into it. So really, player preference is going to determine whether the price tag is worth it to you. Actually, sound off in the comments. What do you think of Amber Isle? Do you love it as much as I do? Are there other prehistoric merchant sims out there? Are you planning on getting it for the Switch the day it drops? I could definitely be swayed to buy it again once I see some reviews. If you've stuck around this whole time, thank you so much. Don't forget to give this video a like and a quick thumbs up. I hope you have a great weekend and enjoy whatever game you're playing.